Sup, Liron here, and today we're gonna sketch cars. What's up, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today we're gonna sketch some cars that you can see behind me. This is a fun little exercise I like to do when I focus on sketching and not just on painting. Let me show you real quick just some of the final results here. The final results. So this is what I've got so far, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I want you to focus on my technique of comparing and constantly measuring whatever I can just to get the proportions to be as accurate as possible. This is a challenge. This takes time to master, so don't worry if it takes time for you. Keep working at it and you'll improve. And with that being said, let's jump into the process.
Okay, so the first steps are measuring. So I'm marking two spots on the edges of the paper, and I'm not going to use the one on the right probably. But the first thing I'm figuring out is the front of the car, the angle. And then I compare it to the windshield area, and you'll soon understand exactly what I'm doing. And then the top part of the windshield. And you see that they're of similar length, and I use that information to my advantage so that I can get these to be accurate. The thing is, the big challenge that I find here is getting the angles accurate, and this is something that for some reason intuitively was easier for me in the past, but now became a little harder. So I don't know if maybe I'm more scrutinizing my work, or maybe I've improved so I see more mistakes, But in any case, now goes the top of the car. And this is about twice the length of the windshield's line, the very first windshield line that we got in there. And then I'm going to the back, and you'll find many lines that kind of have similar lengths. Okay, now I'm marking where the headlight starts. It's about halfway through from the windshield and to the front of the car. Then I'm finishing its triangular shape. Sorry about the angle, okay? I know it may be a little harder to see like that, but that's the best angle I could manage at the time. I will improve that setup, hopefully in the future. Now I'm just using one straight line all the way to the back to indicate where the windows start, okay? It's much easier to get it with one line. And then we have the mirror coming there. And I'm just slowly figuring out what's where and in relation to what. That's like the biggest challenge. You see me kind of thinking. I'm thinking a lot. This is what you see now is like 1.5 speed, so it's a little faster, but it's not even double speed. What you see now, there's the light at the back. Now the thing is, somebody just is gonna park in one moment. I just remember he's gonna park his car in front of me, and then I won't have that much field of view, and then I'll ask him when he moves. But so I'm just adding a few details there. As much as I can, because already he's getting in my way. So that's just another added dimension of doing this outside. There's no way around it. So it's easier to put the line at the bottom and just using one straight swoosh, as you saw there, and then putting in the wheels. Dividing the windshield into two parts can be also a challenge to measure that. So you really have to try and measure manually, even with your hands. I used my pencil itself to measure, so sometimes I would just lift it in front of my eyes and try to compare the actual parts, using the pencil as a measuring stick. The wheels are a big challenge always. I'm always having a hard time with them. I'm just going to do a wrap-up of this part, and we'll continue.
So as you can see, someone just blocked my view. He's gonna move in just a few moments. I talked to him, I actually asked him. I'm working on this car over here, and he came and parked right in front of it. So I'm just waiting for him to move, and then I'll continue, and hopefully no one will park there. That's disabled, people with disabilities parking spots, so it shouldn't be taken at least some of the time.
Okay, so the thing is, now because he's obstructing my view, I decided to be efficient and start working on another car. And this one is to the right, okay? So I'm working on that now, and I'm starting again with the top of the windshield. This is what I found to be the easiest. And then I'm dropping that line. Now, the angle here can be misleading. The angle on the right there is almost vertical. And then the one on the left is obviously a little more diagonal. Again, there's a bit of skewing, but try to view this comparison always, okay? Always try to compare it what you see on my paper and not necessarily what you see on the reference. So in any case, now I'm back to that car because he moved finally. And I'm just going to let go of that second car for now. I'm going to go back to it later on. So the front wheel starts at approximately the back of the headlight, and it ends a little before where the windows begin. So you see me I dropped a few vertical lines there just to figure out where to place it. And now I'm using a line of perspective to figure out how tall the front wheel should be. Wheels are really a big challenge. They've always been like putting round shapes into perspective is a big challenge because you can't really follow the rules unless you're really careful and you're measuring a whole lot. And I don't always enjoy measuring a lot. This is a part of me working on being more patient. Now there's this front wheel that's on the left, and now I'm dropping that shadow in the front. And this brings us to we're almost done with the drawing stage. All we have left to do is sketching and shading. So now I'm picking up the pace of the video as well. It's about 3 times, I guess, the original speed, just because I'm darkening things around. And I'm just working around it, finding what I know how to darken, and then moving from there and going in relations. Now, when you're working with a pencil, you don't have to worry about paint drying, like with watercolor. You just have your own time, and you can build things up slowly like I'm doing here. And it's not perfect, and it's also, mind you, a really tiny sketch. So I can't really put in all of the details that I want, but I do get the crucial ones in there. And when you take a few steps back, that's the real measurement. That's the real test that you can see if it looks good and if it reads well. So anyway, now I'm going to conclude, I think, this process. Okay, so just wanted to show you what I've got so far because of the different angle I was using back then. So now I want to show it to you more from the front. Just very scribbly, but I wanted you to get the general idea of how to get the proportions right and how I measure. I'm going to add some more shadows to it just to make it a little more readable, let's say, put in the darkest shadows under the car mainly. And then we're going to continue with that other one. Hopefully it'll stay there so we can actually continue with it. So now I'm continuing, and there's just a little bit of details to add to the bottom of that car. A very quick part of this, a very quick stage here. I just want to make sure that I push the contrast as much as necessary, okay? So if you notice, the part of the car that's closest to us needs to be a little darker, and that's what I'm doing now. It's misleading. You assume that it's lighter just because it's white. It can be really confusing, but when you actually compare it to the top of the car and things like that, it's much, much darker. Now, what characterizes headlights or flashlights in general and things like that is that they have strong contrasts in them, so you'll find both darker darks and maybe even the darkest darks, but also very light areas. So you can see I got the contrast there. There's the grills at the front, and now I'm working around the wheels, darkening. This is as dark as it'll get. Okay, now I'm doing the final stage of the shading around the plates, I guess, of the wheel plates you call it, and darkening only what's necessary. And we're almost done with this one. Just a few details here and there, a few shadows thrown here and there. And now, just to add a bit of more contrast, I am adding this big tree or bush kind of behind the car because the top of the car is very light. I thought this would create an interesting contrast with it. Okay, now my measurements in general aren't 100% accurate in this one, but I did do my best, and this is what I want to encourage you to do. Okay, it takes time, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video.
Okay, so I'm done with the first process and I'm going to show it to you, and then we're going to jump into the other one. Clearly I was in a bit of a hurry because cars are moving, things are happening, the light is moving as well, and I wanted to make sure that I get everything in there. Usually if I'm doing this inside or from a photo, I will take my time and work a little more carefully, so check it out. So here's the final sketch for this car. It's the one here at the back, again the white one here, behind all of the other ones. I added just a bit of a dark background to make the roof pop just a little bit. And next up we're going to work on this one that I started working on earlier, and hopefully we'll get it in time.
Okay, and now we're finally moving into the second car. I'm going to take things a little slower this time. I just wanted to wrap up what I was mentioning earlier. My measurements are as accurate as I saw them in that particular moment, but they aren't 100%. Now notice where I put the Toyota logo. I'm moving it a bit to the left because I didn't do it in the middle. And this is the things that are a bit, if you look at the reference, you'll see that the logo doesn't sit in the center, but it is skewed a little to the left. And this is due to the perspective and the angle at which we're looking at it, okay? So whenever there are complex relations between parts, that's where things become really hard to do. Now, if I would compare this, for example, to portrait painting or drawing, then what further makes portrait drawing harder is that when something's off, you can immediately tell it even more easily than the cars. Now, if a part of a car isn't drawn as perfectly as it could, you would probably notice something's off. But when a portrait is off, then you, or even a figure is off, you immediately sense that something's wrong with it. And if it's a portrait, you immediately sense that there is no resemblance, or you just don't sense a resemblance. So it's even more crucial. So yeah, this is just another one of those core skills that you just have to be patient and work with them. And I wasn't as patient as I could here as well. I think the best setup is to actually have a still life setup that's inside and allows you to work slowly because the light doesn't shift on you, but still allows you to work on some things that are complex looking from direct observation and not from photos, because you can work from photos inside and that would be okay, but you just don't look at a 3D object. Okay, so if you do want the best of both worlds, meaning working comfortably in a studio environment and also having real-life observation, that's the main thing here. So the proportions for the wheels with this one are similar. The front mirror is the side mirror is where the wheel begins, and then it ends at the front at the headlight. The wheels, I think I got these ones a little better, but they're really tricky because they have a circular shape that's a bit hard to explain. It's like their thickness, their width is also circular. It's a bit hard really to indicate it, much less explain it. So in any case, now I'm getting to the shading stage. Really, the message to take from this video is be patient, work on measuring slowly, build it up slowly. And if you see that you don't get the results you want, really ask yourself and audit your results and see, is this line accurate? Is this angle the same as what I see here? If it's not, then correct it and try and see if it improves. This is really a matter of just doing, just practicing. No amount of watching videos will help. You just gotta do it. Now, in addition to that, I also wanted to mention looking at things in a more abstract manner can help. Okay, so if you're looking at the car and you're viewing it as a car, it can be overwhelming. But once you just imagine those, for example, the windshield lines as just lines, just shapes, it's much easier to get them in. Sometimes what helps is to look at the negative space, meaning instead of looking at the car, look at how it cuts the background. So then if you look at, for example, even if you look at the reference right now, you see that the car kind of cuts the cars in the background in different placements, okay? So if you try and combine the two, not just the shape of the roof, but the negative shape around it, that can really, really help. I think with the cars, it's a little more complex because it's like a complex object behind another complex object. But maybe if there was a tree behind it, it would have been much easier. If you look at the cars that are behind the car I'm working on, you see that they have some trees and bushes and thingies behind them. That would be easier, like the black, dark green shape. That would be easier to get or to imagine as a negative shape. And then you can work with that. Okay, so now we're near the end of this process. Again, very rough, very sketchy, but that's a part of the nature of working outside in the sun with lots of interruptions. So anyway, let's wrap it up. Okay, so here is the final result of both of these. Wanted to share with you and show you up front. The first one, I'm really pleased with this one. I think there's a good sense of light and shadow in addition to the drawing being accurate. The second one, I think, turned out a little less accurate, and the reason was I was subconsciously pretty much in a hurry. And there were two people fighting here and making some noise, and someone called the police, actually. But in any case, here's the final one of the other one, and you can see it here at the back. Right over here. Didn't have the best view because of that pole in the middle, but anyway, I'm done now and let's wrap up the vid.
Okay, so I'm done here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. You can see some of the background here. And I hope this gives you a better idea of how I measure and how I compare. This is one of the biggest concepts, I think, measuring and constantly comparing whatever you can to get the result to be accurate, to get the proportions to be accurate. It's a big challenge. Some are good or better with more organic rounded shapes. Some have it more in the technical side of like a lot of straight lines. I'm like that. I'm really having an easier time with lots of straight lines, but you know, it's just a matter of, I guess, personal preference. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to check out my beginner's drawing course in the description box. I also added a how to shade course, a new one that I just launched that I think you'll really enjoy. And in any case, this is it for today, and I will see you again in another vid real soon.